From picture 3, we can see that the new continent is surrounded by a large mountain range. How did it come about? In modern times, scientists say that the mountains were created with the help of a big earthquake. But what causes these earthquakes? What does an earthquake consist of? Earthquake occurs due to the filling of gases between the rocks caused by the processes inside the Earth. Gases formed by the processes inside the Earth seep between the rocks of the Earth. Leakage increases due to the continuous flow of gases from the lower layers of the Earth. At the time of rise, great pressure builds up and explodes from any spark. During the explosion, the gas pushes those around with high pressure. The power of the explosion is weakened by its spherical shape. At the top of the Earth's crust where the explosion occurs, the strong pressure affects the rocks, dislodges them, and causes severe consequences in the upper layer of the Earth. In my personal experience, I have not witnessed an earthquake creating large mountains on Earth. If an earthquake created mountains on the Earth, then there would be mountains like the Andes and the Himalayas all over the Earth, both in the sea and in the ocean. The largest mountain in the solar system is Mars. The height of this mountain is 24 km. Its height is about 3 times higher than the height of the Himalayas on Earth. The mountain on Mars was formed by volcanic eruptions, and it is distributed on all sides at the same distance and slope from its summit down. If the Himalayas were formed by earthquakes, volcanoes, or if they were formed by them, then it is the same mountain on Mars as it would be. Mountains on Earth are not found on any of the Earth group planets of the solar system. The mountains on the Earth were formed by the sliding of rocks on top of each other. In these mountains, the rocks are mainly located at an angle of 30 degrees 70 degree. There are even mountains that are located at an angle of 90°. What you see in the 4th and 5th pictures was taken by me from a depth of about 100 memolars from the bottom of the large remnant of the mountain, which is considered the Lesser Caucasus Mountains in modern times. In this way, we see small volumes of stones combined with lavas. From the appearance of the mountain, we can see that these stones have been affected by some energy for a long time and were formed by breaking up from large tectonic plates. We can see from the shape of these stones that the stones have not been in contact with any layer of water. If they were, their upper layers would be smooth and smooth. The upper layers of the stones here are indented, protruding, and fence. This confirms our opinion. But then how did these small stones adjacent to the lava and never see the surface of the water fall under the big tectonic plate containing iron? According to me, they were created during the time when there was no water on Earth. Adjacent to this lava, rocks can form as follows. In the first case, the surface was corroded by the tectonic plate due to the long-term energy of some star, perhaps the Sun, or another star similar to it. Then, these pieces of stone were combined with the erupting lava due to the gases coming out of the ground. The lava mass combined with these stones may have been formed under a new tectonic plate that was created later. In the second case, this mass of stone combined with lava may be formed during the arrival of water on the Earth, due to the great impact of water, due to the sliding of the tectonic plates located on the upper layer of the Earth, because the upper layer of the Earth remains in the lower layer of these sliding tectonic plates. According to me, the second case is more correct. If we accept this second case, then it can be said with certainty that water was brought to the Earth from outside. And the fact we have shown is proof of this. Such stones can also be found on Mercury, Mars, and Earth's Sputnik, the Moon. These stones have also been corroded by the influence of the Sun. So, mountains on Earth were formed by rocks sliding over each other. Then the question arises, by what force did these rocks slide one on top of the other and create such large mountains on Earth? According to me, there is no power on Earth that creates such great mountains. The power that created these mountains must come from outside the Earth. On Earth, such power can only come during the period of asteroid and comet fire. If the Earth was hit by asteroids and comets, it could only be before water arrived on Earth. If it were possible to form a mountain due to the continuation of the comet fires of the Earth, then there would be many mountains like the Himalayas on the Earth, and mountains would be formed everywhere on the Earth, that is, in the sea and the ocean. If we look at the map of the Earth, which consists of a continent, an ocean, and a sea, in Figure 3, we will see that the mountains on this continent are circled on all sides of the continent. These circular mountains extend from the Andes to the Himalayas, and from there to Alaska. Such round mountains can only be formed due to the impact of water on the Earth. From the above study, it can be concluded that no volcano, earthquake, satellite, or comet fire can create continental and circular mountain ranges on Earth. Oceans, continents, and seas can and did form on Earth only when a ball of water collides with the Earth. This is a solid proof that water was consciously brought to Earth by extraterrestrials. MP. Now let's examine the factors that prove that water came to the Earth from outside and that it created a sea on the Earth with its arrival. First of all, let me note that when there was only one sea on Earth, there was neither the Mediterranean Sea, nor the Black Sea, nor the mountains on the edge of the Black Sea, nor the Caucasus Mountains. These areas are under that single sea. If you look carefully at the map, you can determine the coordinates of the sea. This sea was contiguous with the Arctic Ocean that we perceive in modern times. That is, it was one. The upper level of the sea covered the modern American continent, a large part of the African continent, the entire European continent, and 70% of the land of the Asian continent, starting from Alaska. One of the main factors that prove its existence is the endless sand deserts on Earth. In modern times, a large part of the American continent, almost more than half of the African continent, the entire Arab world, Central Asia, Kizak deserts, a part of Europe, Russia, even the foothills of the Altai and Himalaya mountains were covered with sand. Apart from these, some of the sand fields in the world have been covered with soil due to greenery. There are two types of natural sand in the world. One is river sand, the other is sea sand. River sand is formed due to the water flowing from the mountains. All the sea sand in the world belongs to that sea, that is, a sea that was formed for the first time on Earth. All the sand deserts on Earth are proof of the truth of this sea. It is impossible to say how long the state of one continent and one sea lasted on Earth. It can be said that the sea alone has lived for a long time. The basis for the correctness of my opinion is the presence of limestone, clay, herringbone, and rock formed from a combination of several minerals, sawstone used as a building material, in Azerbaijan, Italy, Spain, and America underground and in surface mountains. The main part of that rock consists of fish ears. I think the formation process of this sawstone rock happened like this. After the death of the algae living in the sea, their shells sank to the bottom of the sea and mixed with lime, clay, sand, and many minerals to form a mass. Then, the mass was hardened by the high pressure of seawater and turned into stone. The quality and thickness of the rock in question is not the same everywhere. If the scientists determine the average height of the rock and how long it takes to form a 1 nem height, then it is possible to determine how many years this sea has lived. Let's leave this interesting and responsible work to the scientists of this field. We investigated the conscious introduction of water to Earth. At the time of the arrival of water, we understood that the processes taking place on the Earth, that is, a single ocean, continent, and sea, were created. In science, this period on Earth is called the Pangean period. According to scientists, the Pangean period lasted until the Paleozoic period. The Paleozoic era begins about 570 million years ago. Scientists say that the solar system and the Earth were formed 4.5 billion years ago. Water and living organisms appeared on Earth about 4 billion years ago. According to scientists, the Moon, which is a satellite of the Earth, was formed about 4 billion years ago. If we believe the words of scientists, then it can be said that the Moon, water, and living organisms on Earth appeared at about the same time. According to modern scientists, the Moon has a great role in the survival of living organisms on Earth. After the formation of the Moon around the Earth, the speed of rotation of the Earth around its axis changed from 6 hours to 24 hours in a day. This change also has a great role in preserving the atmosphere, which ensures the existence of living organisms on Earth. With the moon being a satellite of the Earth has 4 seasons. This also regulates the way of life of living organisms, first of all people. Thanks to the moon, the waters of all the oceans on Earth move non-stop. During this movement, the phenomenon of swelling and subsidence occurs in the oceans. During the movement of ocean waters, warm air generated by the effect of heated waters along the equator creates strong wind currents in the south and north direction. These winds create mild climate conditions towards both the south and north poles of the Earth. It can be said that 50 to 60% of the Earth's population lives in this temperate environment. Winds are the provider of 70–80% of the rain that falls on Earth. Thanks to the moon, the ocean waters move, and the waves created during this movement both oxygenate the ocean waters and make up 50% of the oxygen supply of the atmosphere. During the process of water oxygenation, the oxygen it gives to both water and the atmosphere is the life support of living organisms both in water and on land. From the above study, it can be concluded that all living things on Earth live thanks to the moon. Without the moon, no life can live on Earth. The moon is the 3rd brightest planet in the solar system after the Sun and Venus. Thanks to this brightness, the Earth is not completely covered in darkness. As seen from Earth, the moon disappears from view and becomes fully visible again every 14 days. The newly visible moon increases its brightness every day, starting from the day it begins to be seen. This process continues every day, and the moon's brightness increases over 14 days, reaching its peak. This kind of illumination process of the moon only helps people to live a comfortable life on Earth. The fact that one side of the moon is always visible as it revolves around the Earth is still a mystery to people living on Earth. But what is the reason for this secret? In my opinion, the one-way rotation of the moon around the Earth is due to a large and accurate report. Scientists say that the rotation of the moon in the same direction around the Earth is caused by the coincidence of the speed of rotation of the moon around its axis and the speed of rotation of the Earth around its axis. Let's test this hypothesis. Let's take a ball and tie it with a rope. Let's spin that ball in the direction towards us, together with us. Then we will see that although we are spinning around our own axis, the ball is spinning only in one direction. That is, we only see a glimpse of the ball. If the ball was spinning on its axis, we would definitely see the other side of it. Man, that is, the person who spins the ball, even if I could not see the other side of the ball, the person next to me, people living on the other side of the Earth would see it. But this is also impossible. Thus, it can be concluded from the research that the moon does not rotate around its minor axis. The moon only revolves around the Earth itself with a delay. During the delay, the brightness of the moon increases from less to more during 14 days. This improves the way of life of people on Earth. If the moon were to spin on its axis, it might have pulled out of the Earth's gravity at some point. This would mean the destruction of living organisms on Earth. The rotation of the moon around the sun on one side, the time delay in its rotation, the benefit it gives to the living beings living there. The brightness is created or brought according to the accurate report by some great creative force that built the Earth, created it, or by a powerful human civilization living outside our solar system. Above, we explored the universe, galaxies, the solar system located in our galaxy, and the nature of the planets located there. In this study, we have seen that no 2 planets are alike. These planets differ from each other according to their internal structure, magnetic field, and composition of matter. Even it is different in the line of rotation around the Sun. For example, unlike other planets, Venus rotates clockwise around the Sun. The matter of Venus is unlike that of any of the planets in the solar system. Modern scientists study the planets in the solar system and their composition by means of rays. We do not know to what extent the results obtained during the examination conducted by these rays are correct. For example, our spacecraft cannot approach the gas planets. Even if they get close, they are quickly destroyed in the atmosphere of those planets. It is very difficult to study the composition and material of the planets Uranus and Neptune, whose upper layers are covered with ice, by means of rays and collect information. Scientists say that Venus is 500 million years old. So where was Venus at the time of the big explosion, and where did it come from? After all the above research, I came to the conclusion that the first explosion in the universe happened about 13-14 billion years ago, as scientists say. Millions of galaxies were formed after the explosion. About 100-400 billion Sun-type stars were formed in each galaxy. Apart from these stars, billions of large and small planets, satellites, comets, and ice planets have appeared in every galaxy. According to me, after the Big Bang, the children of the universe called galaxies were born. Sun-type stars, the offspring of a galaxy, were born. Planets were born, children of the stars, and also the result of the universe.